This is Penny Z at Debutante Brawl. This is day 8. It is Monday, and Monday is finally coming to an end. This is the day that I've been waiting for since I pretty much got out of the hospital. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I have my first appointment with Dr. McGinn post-hospital. And she's going to cut those little sutures that have been kicking my ass and, really making it hard for me to get around. They're the bane of my existence. I can really say that fairly and honestly and openly to you because you are my friends. But don't tell anyone else. This is just between you and me, and you 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 and you. You're a dick, and you. So anyways, that's going to be a big appointment. What's going to happen is I show up at 9, and she's going to cut those sutures and take out all the packing that's inside. And from what I hear, it's like, McGinn told me it's like 20 to 30 feet of like gauze or something like that. So that's pretty crazy. I forgot who it was on the commented on my vlog, but they said that it's like a magician's handkerchief. I don't know how painful that's going to be, but it doesn't sound pleasant. So they take that out, and they remove the catheter, and they show me how to dilate for the first time. And, that's pretty exciting. That, again, also is terrifying. But I figure if all that packing stuff has been up there, it's not like I'm, there should be plenty of space. But so, after, starting tomorrow is my crazy dilating routine. And that's just going to go on, like, for months, and just, like 6 times a day for 2 months, and then 4 times a day for a long time. I don't even know how that happens if you work, but we'll cross that bridge when we burn it. And when we burn the village. When we burn the village idiot. We'll cross that bridge when we burn the village idiot. I don't know what that means. And then I have to, stay there until I can pee. They have to make sure that I can pee without the catheter. I don't think that'll be a problem. But again, that might hurt too. I've had this little piece of plastic tubing up my urethra for 7 days or whatever. 8 days. Not pleasant. I don't know. So we'll see how that happens, but I have high hopes. Let's see. At least those sutures will be out, and hopefully my range of motion will be better, and I can just start healing in earnest. Let's see. This morning I started out, and this was fantastic. I felt pretty good this morning, and so I spent a little more time in the bathroom this morning, just really washing myself with like wet towels and whatever, and I shaved my armpits and got to put deodorant on, and it was so luxurious, powdery fresh, and wash my face good, and put moisturizer on, which is something I haven't done, and what else? Put a little perfume on just because, it's the little things, despite the fact that I have, like, a gaping wound and I never wear clothes. Hey, I put a shirt on for the first time, since I went to the hospital. That's nice. That's a step up, right? So I don't know, that felt really good. See, my mom's boyfriend came to town and is staying here now. And it was the first time I met him. Quite a way to meet someone, right? Like, hi, I'm Penny, how are you doing? But he's a really sweet guy, and we talked for a long time, the three of us. And he's a really nice guy. And I hope my mom's happy, because he's, they seem to work pretty well together. Although they keep playing games in the next room that only my mom is good at, like Scrabble and gin and stuff like that, and she keeps kicking his ass, and she likes games where she wins. At a girl. So let's see. Also, can I tell you this kind of news is embarrassing, but what the hell? I mean, this should be somewhat in-depth. Today, besides my little accident in the hospital, today was the first day I pooped. How exciting is that? Oh, God, I hope my friends don't watch this. I just realized that more than my YouTubers watch this. But it's a momentous day because, it's been a very long time and it hurt a lot. And so, it's a big part of this. So, I'm keeping it in for the benefit of those who are watching this to know about transition, that doesn't happen for a long time. I had my surgery last Monday. This is Monday of the next week. And, that's how long it took. And it's painful. And it hurt my sutures. And I had a false alarm, had to go twice. And, but it all worked out in the end. No pun intended. But anyway, so yeah, like, man, this is serious. But everyone, like, they say that that's a good thing because it means that everything's working properly, nothing's being diverted or backed up or whatever, so it's good. But anyways, and then, I got to follow that up with some actual real something good in that my mom brought back some pizza from Carrabba's where they went to dinner. I swear to God, it was the first good food I've had in a week and a half since, like, eating leftovers after Thanksgiving. It's just been so long since I've eaten, like, like a restaurant meal, or something like hot that's not from a hospital or from a can. Yeah, it's really the first, decent, okay thing. Oh, it tasted so good. And I immediately had a stomach ache afterwards because it's so greasy. And I ate, like, too much of it. It was like a little pizza, but, I ate the majority of it. I left a slice, and I was just like, all the bread. But it was like a happy, sort of death feeling. Anyways, all I can say is Carrabba's pizza, you're A1 in my book. And it wasn't even a very good pizza. It like tasted like, I don't know, some greasy little, corner pizza joint, which I guess is pretty good. But it wasn't like specialty or anything. It wasn't like, I was expecting some gourmet thin crust or whatever. Nah, it was something off the little kids menu probably. But I'm very thankful. Well, that's about it. That's been my Monday. And please wish for me to have a good Tuesday morning tomorrow and that everything goes well and I'm not in too much pain from the torture that McGinn puts me through, removing all the, things that are in me. And I don't know. God, I'm terrified. And then, dilating. So we'll see. I'm scared. It'll be okay, though. So far, so good, right? I mean, I've gotten this far. I'm still alive. I'm still smiling through gritted teeth.